welcome Alan Zimmerman.
J'ai étudié le français quand j'ai été adolescent. Il y a 48 ans. J'ai oublié presque tout, and my English is not that good either. Thank you for inviting us to speak today. And I use the word us because that's part of the culture I've been in for 40 years. It's about we, not me. But I'll still tell you something about me. I've been a member of the Parks of Food Co-op for 40 years, and an employee for 28 years. But if you were to wake up at 5 a.m. and come to work with me, that ship has sailed. I retired last spring. And partly because I retired, I'm now free to come and speak to you. For the last 15 years, I was the produce buyer and the supervisor of that department. During that time, I became passionate about produce and obsessed with supporting small, local family farms. That is the area of my expertise. Speaking to new people about how to start up a co-op is not my area of expertise, although I could wake up in the middle of the night and probably tell you everything you need to know, because I've done nothing but live and breathe Parks of Food Co-op for 40 years. We have staff people who specialize in helping people start new co-ops. We offer their assistance to you. If you're looking for assistance, starting a co-op, we will help you. We especially want to work with people who want to develop a co-op with a work requirement similar to ours. And I'll talk more later about why we want to help. Caffeine when fear and adrenaline isn't enough. Well, I've already proven that I can't talk and chew gum at the same time. I've missed a few slides. Our storefront. That tent in the back is bicycle valet parking on very busy weekends. And that sculpture is was made for the firehouse next to us to commemorate that half of their force died on 9/11. So, back to the screen. You'll find our mission statement on our website. It describes who we are and what we believe. It's a very long mission statement. It includes much that any co-op or any store might embrace, but I'll only be focusing today about those parts in the mission statement that sets us apart from most other food co-ops and all other stores. But before we had this very long mission statement, we had a mission, and that is good food at low prices for working members through cooperation since 1973. I'm going to mention first our website, and it's an important resource for future reference. Then I'll talk a bit about our history, how we organize our work, some of the ways that we encourage, support, and ultimately earn cooperation. There will be a video break, a bilingual video, and an opportunity for some questions. And you can see visually that it's not an elegant looking website. Excuse me. Paid staff and member collaboration can be slow, messy, and at times painful. And the rebuilding of our website is being done in collaboration between members and our paid IT staff. And we have to accept that sometimes progress will be slow, the process may be messy, and we will feel pain. We will sacrifice efficiency if necessary, but we won't sacrifice inclusion or transparency. So as I said, it's old and inelegant and in the process of being modernized. But it has loads of information, including our membership manual, mission statement, links to issue-oriented committees, our produce price list. And I'll pause for a minute to say our produce prices change every day. We post new signs every day, and from the comfort of your home, you can see what's on our menu. 275 or so different produce items every day. And those prices, locations of origin, change daily. It's a big deal to me, not just because it was my work, but it's a big deal to our members who really do eat pretty low on the food chain. We are open 100 hours a week, and we sell 6,000 cases of produce a week. And do the math, that's a case of produce every minute, a pound every 3 seconds. And this, back to the website, also includes an archive of our newsletter, the Line Waiters Gazette. The archive provides a great deal of information about what we've been doing for the last 10 plus years, and is an excellent source for seeing our dirty laundry. So what do we mean by good food at low prices? Excuse me. We don't mean cheap food. There are gigantic retailers who sell cheap food and keep prices down by squeezing their suppliers and underpaying their workers. We don't try to buy the cheapest products possible. We would rather pay a fair price and understand that it costs more to support fair trade, that it costs more to buy from small local family farms, and that it costs more to buy organic. We want our members to be excited to belong to a co-op that believes in paying a fair price, that makes ethical decisions about its buying practices, but we also want them to be wowed by the prices. As our volume has increased over the years, the discounts from suppliers have substantially increased as well. This lower cost immediately results in lower prices. Members don't have to wait till the end of a year to get patronage refunds, but that the lower prices are reflected immediately as they shop. We hope that this results in members who are proud that we are doing the right thing and excited to be saving money while we're doing it. By good food, we don't mean we only sell organic, although mostly we do. We don't want to have a purity test for membership. The only test we want is that you're willing to come in and work and cooperate. That's the only test. We also don't want to exclude people who can't afford organic. And what is healthier? Broccoli grown with pesticides or organic gummy bears? Although we are not dogmatic about what is good food, we do try to be as ethical and sustainable and local as possible. We knew from the beginning that we wanted the lowest prices possible on our food. The biggest cost of operating a supermarket is the cost of paid labor. By having all members who can work do most of the work, we could keep prices low and at the same time be good employers to our paid workers. I guess this is in contradiction to the earlier people who talked about providing more jobs in the community. And in truth, we're sometimes criticized for our member labor because those 15,000 odd people working might translate into 50 jobs. But we live with that contradiction. What do we mean by working members through cooperation? It's, I'm doing a bad job with the PowerPoint. I missed a couple. It's pretty obvious that lowering the cost of labor allows us to lower the cost of food. That's a direct and simple. But I'll repeat the earlier point. The biggest cost of operating a supermarket is labor. Our members' labor is crucial. Cooperation itself is at the heart of success. So here's our story. Park Slope Food Co-op was founded in 1973. We were part of a new wave of consumer cooperatives in the USA, and at that time, about 1,000 new co-ops were developed. Co-ops attracted anti-war, civil rights, and other social rights activists, as well as vegetarians and people simply looking for healthier, more affordable food. when I joined, I first joined because I had to. My roommate joined. We have a household rule, and he made me join. And but the co-op became a place for me where, following years of activism around farm labor, anti-war, civil rights, I really needed a place that could help me feel that some of the dreams of the world were possible. And Parks Food Co-op gave that to me. Over the next decade or so, only a few co-ops had survived. Almost all the surviving co-ops had, for the most part, abandoned member labor. We're entirely on the concept that cooperation itself means working together. But we believe that member labor was the most important thing we were doing. The definition itself of the word cooperation is the process of working together to the same end. So we tried different versions of member labor and perfected several ways to fail. We came up with a squad system that created teams of members who worked together at the same time, every time. This was successful, and these are some of the reasons why. As squad members get to know each other, they develop a culture of how to work together. They form bonds with the members they work with and develop the commitment to be there for each other. In fact, they look forward to seeing each other. They support each other as they develop skills. I must emphasize here that peer-to-peer mentoring, training, instructing is crucial to the operation of a co-op. We depend on members training members. We can't have paid staff doing this. In fact, we simply can't afford to pay staff to do all of that. Squads select, oh, by the way, as you're looking through these slides, you see many, many members. And in all of the photos you'll see only 3 of the people are paid staff. And really most of the operations of the store are done by members. So the squads select among themselves or volunteer to become squad leaders, preferably 2 or 3 of them. They step up to assume supervision level responsibility for such things as taking attendance, dealing with absences, introducing new members, both to the co-op and their fellow squad members. They directly teach new skills or pair newbies with experienced members. This is an excellent way to pass on skills. In the spirit of transparency, it's also an excellent way to pass on bad habits. Ideally, they encourage squad meetings. These work shifts, which last 2.5 hours, allow a 15-minute period to transition from one squad to the next and or to hold squad meetings. The essence of why the squad system worked is that with squads of 10 or 20 people, it provided a tangible unit for belonging And for many members, it is their squad that help nurture a cooperative feeling. And I need a pause. We also learned that scheduled labor was worth much more than randomly arriving volunteers. This reduced the occurrence of the twin nightmares, labor gluts and shortages. I'm afraid we have not entirely solved that problem. Our member labor system still needs continual management and thoughts toward improvement. This is our membership office, and as you can see, part of our membership system is automated, and some of it's mired in the 20th century. So this is going to be kind of information dense right here. All members who are able to work contribute 2 3/4 hours every 4 weeks. That amounts to 13 times a year, totaling 36 hours. Member labor comprises 75% of the work done in the co-op. The numbers now would be about 14,500 out of our 16,700 members work. We have disability leaves, parental bereavement, and several other, and also members can retire after 65 years of age and 20 years of membership. You may retire. It used to be 75 years if you asked for it. And in truth, a lot of people at the age of 75 would never give up their squads. Almost all work is scheduled. About 90% of our member workers are on squads that meet at the same time of the day, on the same day of the week, every 4 weeks, with the same folks in the same sphere of operations. A member of, for example, a stocking and receiving squad may do the same job every 4 weeks and become expert at that job. Another member may unload a truck 1 week, put groceries on the shelf another week, fill our bulk aisle on another week, and gain experience in diverse areas. Most of the remaining 10% of work is also scheduled, but not on a cycle. Members who cannot conform to the 4-week cycle, but are available when the co-op really is short-handed, are welcome to join our F-TOP program, Future Time Off. We're able to accommodate, for example, the needs of a freelance worker if they're willing to accommodate filling in where the work shortages are. Members using either of these plans can get credit for 2 of their work requirements by attending our decision-making general meeting. We give our time and we work for our food. With this high level of participation in the work comes a desire to have a say in what foods we carry, how decisions are made, and to participate in the decision-making process we call the general meeting. You may have read in the pamphlet that we have about 250 to 600 people at these meetings. It's about 250 to 300, but when really contentious items come up, there have been times that we've had to rent a room much bigger than this for even up to over 1,000. Day-to-day decisions, the management of store and personnel are made by general coordinators. I was one of those. Think of them as senior management. Organizational decisions, however, are made at the general meetings. The members who choose to attend advocate for items on the agenda, and all equally participate in discussion and voting. The meetings are conducted in a town hall style of democracy, a direct and not representative democracy. We believe that the best discussions are made face-to-face, voted upon by the members who are present and able to listen and participate in debate. Any member may bring an item to the agenda. Any member may participate. The general meeting is also the legally required and simultaneous Board of Directors meeting. The Board of Directors never meets unless it is in the presence of the voluntarily coming together group of people, our general meeting. Members of the board listen to the votes, listen to the advice given to them as expressed through members' votes. They hear that advice, and unless that advice will put the co-op in legal or financial peril, they vote to accept that advice. We've had a board of directors for about 40 years, and in that time, the board has taken the advice of the members all but one time. In fact, following the one time, the members' advice was not listened to. A special meeting was called and overruled the board. Yeah, I'm proud of that. I'll depart from my prepared words to say that it was at the time when we were voting to buy the building adjacent to us and double our space. And the board members who opposed it were afraid to risk the co-op, and that we might jeopardize our business altogether. But they did not take the advice of the members who believed that it was a prudent way to go. So I'll summarize. Members discuss. Members vote. Board hears advice. Board says yes. It's not a rubber stamp. In fact, I'm going to be running for the board this year, and I'm committing to hear the advice, but we really know that we also have fiscal and legal responsibility. if you're going to participate in this meeting, you're going to have to be well informed. The Line Waiters Gazette, published 26 times a year, is not really a newspaper, and it's not a house organ. It is not a vehicle for the co-op or its vendors to sell stuff to our members. It's never used for that kind of advertising. The Line Waiters Gazette is produced, edited, and written by members. We have a free and open and transparent press run by members for work credit. Members are involved in all kinds of day-to-day work on all levels and are naturally drawn to involvement in our decision-making. We need our members to be informed. We need a press that is not centered or limited, one that prints virtually everything. Members attending our open decision meeting must have access to information and opinions of our fellow members. Anyone can write a letter, and everyone will be published, with the exception of discriminatory or defamatory language. Every member's voice will be shared. I jotted these notes earlier. So we have a board that's not exactly a board, a newspaper that's not exactly a newspaper. We're the only store in the world that does $1 million a week in sales, and we have no customers. And maybe this is weird, but we send a speaker to you who can barely speak. And they are very strange. Random pictures. Here are a couple of examples of horizontal elements of our model. We have an approach based more on humanism than meritocracy with respect to pay for hourly employees who comprise about 65 of the 75 paid workers. All hourly workers are paid the same, whether they started 20 years ago or are starting tomorrow. We hope that this eliminates much jealousy, competition, favoritism, secrets. Many of our long-term employees have expressed happiness that their new peers are true peers. And we are grateful that new employees can enter our workforce with more financial confidence than most new workers can feel. All members' work has the same value. I've seen a local rabbi stocking eggs, a Pulitzer Prize winner putting out bread, an Emmy Award winner working shifts at a neighboring co-op, a startup co-op where we are trying to help. A lawyer doing legal work for the co-op, or a writer shoveling snow, or a lawyer shoveling compost, they are all the same. 1 hour equals 1 hour. Members cannot buy their way out of work. We don't want to have that type of division in the co-op. So we have no tiers of membership, no tiered pricing structure. is not a good time. Our members do not find themselves having to continually evaluate which level of membership, which deal is best for them. Oh, this looks like my break is coming up. The Parcel Food Co-op is here today to share our model of how a food co-op can work. We believe in cooperation among cooperatives. One of the principles of the statement of cooperative identity that grew out of the Rochdale Society. You will find this list of cooperative principles in our membership manual on our website. We think we have a really good idea that more people should try it, and we'd like to help if we can. In this spirit, our members voted to create the Revolving Loan Fund Committee to support new member labor food co-ops and to annually donate $20,000 to the fund, contingent upon the fiscal well-being of the co-op. Additional funding comes from tax-deductible contributions from our members and other sources. This fund offers low-cost loans to help new co-ops grow and generate income. Its purpose is to expand the role of member-run cooperatives in bringing healthy food at low prices to residents across Brooklyn and beyond. We hope that groups will be successful in opening co-ops in Brooklyn. We are close to the limits of our capacity. We have worked with groups from all over the United States as well as all over the world. We have worked especially closely with a group in Paris who has invited us, who has visited us on several extended occasions. They are functioning now as a buying club and plan to open their co-op store in September. They are Supermarché Coopérative La Louve. They made this video about Posh Slope to promote interest in our model. I hope you enjoy it. I'm not done, by the way.
First of all, I'll tell you that there were about 10 founders, and we met every week for about 6 months, and then we opened the co-op. And the basic philosophy, I think, that we all shared, although there might have been some other ideas, but the basic two things was we really wanted to be able to afford to eat better food. And the other thing we were really excited about was that we knew that we were trying to start a cooperative, and we thought, well, cooperation means people working together, and we felt like we were growing up into a society where there wasn't enough people working together.
Greetings, co-op shoppers. We have with us today two journalists from Grit TV. They have permission to be filming in the co-op, and also they're going to be asking members questions. If you have time to answer questions about the co-op, please feel free to talk to them if they want to talk to you. Thank you.
The selection of produce, the fact that it's very ethical, we try to go local.
You know, since I'm addicted to the co-op, and it's really an addiction at this point, I can't compromise myself by going shopping at the commercial supermarkets. So it's become such an integral part of my life at this point that, you know, I'm trapped, so to speak, for the good.
Our sales have grown every year, and we're up to 48 million. So that's a remarkably high number for a single store of our size. We have the upper, what you would call upper management, and that's 9 of us. They're called the general coordinators, and we sit on sort of a management collective team. And the other approximately 60, 62 employees are all hourly employees, and they all earn the same wage, so the same hourly wage. So if you start yesterday or if you started 10 years ago, you're going to have the same wage. And we consider them managers also. Members are required to work 13 times a year. They work on a 4-week cycle. Once every 4 weeks, they come in to work on the same shift that they work, same day, same time, same type of work they worked 4 weeks previously. There are 16,000 of them, but only about 14,200 to 14,500 work. The other ones are on what we consider exempt committees for either temporarily or permanently disabled, new parents, elder, retired. The vast majority of the work is really just in running the co-op. We have to both receive in a lot of product, organize it in the basement, bring it up from the basement, stock it. The members do all of the checking out. They serve as the cashiers. They answer the phones. They're the primary office workers. And then we have committee work, so it's everything from just a 2 3/4 hour shift stocking food to something like running our monthly general meeting.
Are there problems sometimes? Does people get upset with each other sometimes? Yes, but more than anything, there's a positive thing when people come together and work together. It feels good.
Well, the long lines are pretty awesome. It's pretty fun to wait online for, like, you know, you got time to kill.
I think less work shifts because there's so many people working. I don't know that we need to do as many as we did years ago.
It's 2 hours and 45 minutes per month for most work slots. The work requirement is insignificant compared to the value that you receive.
Membership should, you know, really be more empowered than what they are.
This is one of the most democratic places in the world. It's the most diverse place in the world. Just take a look.
But the Co-op is not a health food store. We're a very practical store in terms of our goal is to serve our members. We have some rules that the members have voted on, like where we voted on not believing that things are safe just because the FDA says they're safe. So we voted to use a higher standard from the Center for Science and the Public Interest. Every member is invited to the general meeting. And the general meeting is actually part of a board of directors meeting. And our bylaws very specifically say that the board of directors must receive the advice of members on all matters.
We were on a natural rise in membership, and then the economy took a nosedive and we just soared off the map. We saw a direct impact from the financial crisis of 2007, 2008. I think it was, well, one thing was I think there was a rise in unemployment, and so people actually had more time. So previously maybe they were working 60 hours a week and couldn't join the co-op, and suddenly they were unemployed or they were much less employed, so the co-op was possible for them. And other people, I think it was really, wow, I don't have any money, or, you know, my savings have dried up, or I'm cut back to 20 hours a week, you know, I've become a part-time employee, and they needed to find ways to save on their food dollars.
So the question is, what's the future? We decided that we would start a revolving loan fund, and it's just gotten off the ground. The Food Co-op is going to put in $20,000 a year. And we hope, it's just a hope, I don't know what's going to happen because it's just starting. I'm hoping that, let's say, 4,000 of our members put in an average of $25 a year, every year, into this 501c3 foundational fund. And that way it'll be 20,000 from the co-op and 100,000 from the members. That would be 120,000 a year. And after 2 or 3 years, we'd have some real money, and we would start to lend that money out through that foundation. We'd lend the money out to cooperatives that were in their beginning stages to help them buy refrigeration, checkout equipment, shelving, help them sign a lease.
It's no threat to us at all if there are more co-ops. In fact, if the cooperative economy in the way that we run, if we participated in it, grew in New York, we think that would be a wonderful thing. Many, many neighborhoods in New York could have their Park Soap Food Co-op, and it would be a wonderful experience.
This model is more sustainable than the co-ops that don't ask members, don't require members to put their time in. People will get more connected. You could feel the cooperation better than if you just invest money. Invest your time, it's more precious. And when you do something more precious, you get something more precious back.
I actually enjoy my shift. I do food processing, and I know that it's unusual, but I've really bonded with the people on my shift, and I look forward to it. So.
It's a nice atmosphere, it's a nice cooperative community sensibility, and the food really is great. I've come to appreciate all kinds of produce far more than I used to, all kinds of different lettuce and kale.
I mean, the prices are great, the organic aspect is wonderful, but there's really a sense of community here.
It feels positive, and it feels like you're connected to this thing, and you own it together, and you're part of the reason it succeeds, and there's something gratifying for that.
I love this video, but I have to confess it's the wrong one. It was not the one made by La Louve. And Miriam thinks there may be some opportunity to show it later. But I'm also told that I need to wrap up shortly, and I'm afraid I have a lot more, so let me fumble through and hit on the most key points. So you saw that checkout area with lots and lots of people working. If we could run our checkouts more efficiently and more accurately with paid staff, would it be worth it? Would it take 15 or 20 people to do it? If we were to hire this many checkout workers, we would probably have to raise our prices. So we keep this inefficiency, a system that may require 1,000 people to administer, to keep our prices down. This co-op math, which may seem to embrace inefficiency, has a kind of a not so obvious reward. The autonomy that our members work with produces greater pride. And the trust that we managers leave with them creates greater enthusiasm in their work than would otherwise be felt. Paid staff is, of course, always there if needed. One of the ways that we are good neighbors in our community, which is another cooperative principle, to be good supporting neighbors to our community, is that we walk people home with or to their cars. We want people to not bring cars to Union Street. It's just, we have to think of the safety of the firehouse next door to us and try to reduce congestion in front of us. We make it easier to be a member by providing childcare for shopping or working members. We have films, workshops, cooking classes, and more that are free and open to the public. In our newsletter, we have a listing called Community Ties, which offers several hundred special offers or discounts from other businesses exclusively to co-op members. I'm going to skip some stuff and get to the finale. So you heard on the video someone saying 2 3/4 hours. You might say that's not so bad. You might say 36 hours a year. That's not so much. But it's not nothing. It's really a big deal when that time comes around every 4 weeks. If you miss your work and don't make it up in a timely fashion, you will lose your right to shop. Your time is really precious. Your time on earth is precious, says the old guy in the room. But investing time is way more powerful than money. When you invest that time, you form a special bond. And when you work in concert with others, you experience a lasting cooperative connection. But if you decide to create a food co-op, a non-participatory one without a work requirement, you'll invest your money in it. You will develop the feeling that it belongs to you. And we wish you success. We also believe, and that is what I came here to tell you, that if you also invest your time and you also invest your labor, you will develop the feeling that you belong to it. And here is where I paraphrase Valerie speaking in French in the video you didn't get to see, and say, do you think something like this could work in Montreal? Maybe it's better to ask ourselves, why wouldn't it? Thank you.